Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the first time if you're new here. And as I always say, thank you so much for joining us for our pick a card reading today. And of course, as you can tell by the title you clicked on, very straightforward, we're delving into a month ahead prediction reading, aka a glimpse into your October 2025. So let's choose our pile leaders right now, calling on Spirit for our highest, best, good. Please guide us to the right piles for our messages today. Beautiful. Okay, this one sounds like pile 1 to me. That one was quite prominent first right off the bat. Also this one seems like a pile number 2. And then as for pile number 3, I'm actually feeling drawn to this one right here. So we're going to take those 3. Let's unveil them together. So for pile number 1 over here on the left, your pile leader today is the folklore character of Robin Goodfellow. For pile number 2 here in the middle, your pile leader today is one of the animal cards. You have the spider. Very fitting for October colors so far. We have gold and orange. And then last but not least for our wonderful pile number 3, your pile leader today is, okay, a bit of green. We have the animal of frog. So just to reiterate, pile number 1 over here is Robin Goodfellow. Pile number 2 in the middle is spider. And pile number 3 is frog here on the right. But as I always say, you're perfectly welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide. If you're new to pick a card readings and you want my suggestion for a method, or maybe you just want to take a nice little blissful moment of peace out of your busy day, please follow my voice right now. So close your eyes and take in a deep, cleansing breath. Imagine light filling your lungs as you do so, then hold it for just a moment or two. And then when you breathe back out again, letting go of the stress of the day, open your eyes and see where are they drawn most first out of these 3 different choices. What feels right down in your gut when you look at it. And that is the pile I recommend you go with. But whatever your method, drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment. Find the timestamp for your reading, and I'll see you in our chat about how your October 2025 will go and predictions for that as well. See you in the reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about your October 2025 predictions for the month ahead. And as you recall, you were drawn to the card of Robin Goodfellow for your pile leader today. Now, I think if I remember correctly, Robin Goodfellow is technically a creature or being from British folklore. I think he technically is considered like a fairy type being. Another name he usually goes by is Puck. And in general, though, he's a lot like figures in other cultures that represent a sort of trickster spirit in a way. Although I think, to my understanding, Robin Goodfellow tended to be sort of on the good side, but mischievous. Sometimes he would help you, sometimes he might pull a prank on you, at least from my understanding of the folklore surrounding this character. And the reason why I bring that up, pile number 1, is because this card in this deck represents the theme or the keyword of exuberance. You can see here he's almost, well, not quite dancing, but he does have a flute in his mouth playing along, enjoying the moment. Even like the color of yellow brings about the idea of joy and happiness. So I do kind of see that this is a bit of a forewarning is more of a negative connotation. Kind of a hint ahead, maybe is how I'll put it, that October is going to be a pretty good month for you. Of course, we'll see with your other cards the more nitty-gritty details of things, but this is a very positive card to have gotten and for you to have been intuitively drawn to right off the bat. Okay, and Robin Goodfellow in general, as well as this card, does remind us with that keyword of exuberance to remember to take time out of your day to enjoy things, maybe literally to listen to music, right? I'm trying to think of like other things. Like let your positive emotions show more. Also, don't be afraid to act out, or maybe not act out is the word, express yourself more when it comes to your positive feelings and your enjoyment. And just don't be afraid to express yourself during this month, pile number 1. Okay, that's a bit of a theme that might come through. Let's look at your other cards to see the whole picture, though. Though, as I said, beautiful right off the bat for you to have been drawn to quite the positive card. So drawing your tarot cards to begin, pile number 1. Spirit, could you tell us more about, from beginning to end, how their October 2025 will go? Thank you. Well, that was quite quick. All right, we got 2. So let me make sure that this came out in order. This one came out first, and then the one on top was the second one. Beautiful. Just want to make sure that they are read in the order that they were occurring. And let's draw the last 3 cards, pile number 1. Perhaps some of you are even having some sort of event related to music occurring this month. Maybe you're going to a concert. Maybe you are participating in a concert of some sort, learning a new instrument, starting lessons with music. That could be another synchronicity as to why Robin Goodfellow popped up for you. Okay. I believe that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, perfect. Okay, pile number 1. Let's look at the very beginning of October for you. We have, wonderful, the Chariot. Another positive sign here, pile number 1. We'll talk about all of these in tandem with one another in a moment, but let's draw them first. Okay, a little bit after, we have, wonderful, the Nine of Swords reversed. Another positive sign. Everything's looking good so far. Let's keep going. Then we have the Queen of Wands reversed. Okay, might be a little bit of a hint of advice with something in October here. The key, it's actually kind of funny, pile number 1. It's very related to Robin Goodfellow and what we were just talking about, not being afraid to express yourself, not being afraid to express exuberance and excitement for things. Because the Queen of Wands is, in a way, someone, especially reversed, it's a piece of advice to be more confident in yourself with certain things. But we'll talk about that more later, of course. Then we have the Star. Wonderful. Okay, drum roll, please. Cross your fingers. Another positive card. We have, okay, the Lovers. Wonderful. Okay, pile number 1. I can tell you right off the bat, looking at this from a bird's eye view, October looks like a pretty good month to me for you, okay? We have not only a lot of major arcana, because we have the Chariot, the Star, and the Lovers, all major arcana, which basically means to me as a tarot reader, at least the way I personally interpret it, that there's a lot of like important milestones in this month. There's a lot of progress with your life goals perhaps in this month as well, because I kind of feel like major arcana cards to me are representative of major steps in life. Okay, that's how I see them. Like tentpole moments is another word I like to use, or phrase. And then in general too, even the ones that aren't major arcana though, like literally you have the Nine of Swords reversed, which means letting go of some sort of worry or anxiety. And then the one little piece of advice, though, is that Queen of Wands reversed, kind of in tandem with Robin Goodfellow. Okay. Beautiful. And then actually, I typically draw the oracle cards towards the end of the readings, but this reading, I'm actually going to draw them at the very beginning because I want to see more of the full picture. But I will talk about at least like the beginning of October here while I'm drawing this, so we kind of keep the reading going while I'm drawing the cards, right? But so yeah, to begin your month, pile number 1, you do have the Chariot. And the Chariot is all about making progress. So not only did I see that progress being made just because of all the major arcana cards, but you literally got the card of progress with the Chariot at the very beginning of the month, okay? And it's also about being able to have like control over your surroundings, just like someone taking the reins over the horses on a chariot. Less chaos is another good phrase or keyword to use with the Chariot, things like that. And then I'm going to draw these with my eyes closed because they have fronts and backs, but I promise behind the camera I am closing my eyes here. Right there. Okay, I want this one. We have the Kitty of Worry. Okay, we're using a cat deck, so I thought, why not use a cat deck today? Put a smile on your face. Which is interesting because that is somewhat connected to what we were going to talk about next, which is the Nine of Swords reversed. We'll read that off in a little bit. Okay, so we have a theme of worry. And alleviating worries, I want to tell you, pile number 1. So I think you're also going to have a lot less mental stress this month, especially like first week into maybe second week or so with the Nine of Swords after the Chariot. And I think the reason why pile 1 is because of the progress you make in the very beginning of the month that leads to lessened anxiety. Okay. But Spirit is just reemphasizing that with the worry card right there. They're like, just, you're worried right now about something, but it's going to be alleviated in some way. Okay, let's keep going. Right there. Your vintage wisdom today is grace. Okay, handling things with grace. Beautiful card to have gotten. Handling things with grace, as I said. Let's look at your last one here. Which could also tie into your Queen of Wands reversed message as well. And we do have a lot about like dancing and or like expressing oneself. So It might be a very expression-focused month for you as well, pile 1. As I said, maybe some of you are actually like partaking in some musical event or an event where you have to speak in front of people, and maybe that's kind of perhaps what you're worried about. You're kind of worried about like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to present this, or I hope it will be received well, musical or not. And if that's the case for you, pile number 1, that Spirit is also saying that it's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're maybe worrying a little bit too much about it, but not to blame you, not shaking a finger at you, but, and then we have, okay, beautiful. Literally beautiful. Okay. Fantastic month, pile number 1. Okay, yes, back to the tarot reading. So we already described the Chariot. Things in the very beginning of the month are going to go quite smoothly. You're going to make forward progress, forward momentum. And that's going to lead to that 9 of Swords reversed energy right here. We have, I believe that is the Oracle of Delphi, if I'm not mistaken. She's sitting on the chair over the fumes, yes, foretelling the future. So typically upright, it would be like, oh, something's going to be anxiety-inducing, but reversed, it's like letting go of that energy, pile number 1. So that forward momentum makes you let go of your worry, and then because that is connected to this card, I'll read this right now. It says, your present worries are sapping a great deal of energy from you. While the situation may be stressful, it's time to make a conscious effort to focus on what you can do now to experience more peace. Dwelling on things that are in the past and worrying about how things might turn out in the future keep you from truly living in the present moment. Trust that the situation creating this worry will soon pass and choose a brighter outlook. Okay, so this card, pile number 1, I feel like a spirit talking to you right now. You're worried about something because this hasn't come to pass yet, because this is maybe, like I said, first and the second week of October where this lessening of worry and stress will come about because of this 9 of Swords reversed. And I know it's hard to believe me, and I know sometimes it's hard to believe Spirit when it's like, don't worry, things are going to be fine, because you never really know for sure until you get to that cusp of overcoming the thing that was making you worry. But so in that case, pile 1, if that fits how you're feeling right now when I say that, this is basically Spirit saying, don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. What can you control right now? Live in the present moment. And when the time comes, you'll find that forward momentum and you'll have that stress, that mental anxiety reduced about whatever it is you've been worrying about a lot recently, okay? Something's going to happen that will provide that forward momentum. Okay. And then next up, we have the Queen of Wands reversed here in the middle, kind of hiding behind some of the other cards. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands reversed, and this is towards the very, middle of the month, so, second week into, between, the second and third week, right? And the Queen of Wands reversed is a little bit of a nudge to be more confident, as I described earlier. It's a little bit, too, of maybe, the theme of the entire month, because it's in the middle, or I call it, the heart of the matter in the spread I like to use. So I think if there's anything, I'm telling you this, pile number 1, October looks great. I already said that before, and, we talked about it because of the other cards so far, but if there's any little piece of advice that would make it go even smoother and even greater, it's to have greater confidence in yourself. I think that's why exuberance came up as your theme with the pile leader of Robin Goodfellow, is don't be afraid to express yourself, and then even with your card of grace here. Okay, we almost have someone that is... She looks like she's probably dancing, at least lightly, right? She's got her arms around, she's kind of spinning a bit, and so... when we dance, pile number 1, that is really an expression of joy throughout physical movement, right? And so it's just that emphasis once again that there will be things to be happy for in this month, but also to, I don't know what it is, and I don't know why. Maybe I'll pull another card to explain more to me, at least as the tarot reader. But there's going to be something that's going to make you feel like you can't be confident in this month. Maybe it's just lingering doubt even after, the stress is released with that 9 of Swords energy into, the first, second week. Or maybe it's something does come up and you kind of feel like a tiny setback of a lack of confidence. I'll pull cards on that, but... Spirit is basically saying with that card, pile number 1, not to worry about whatever it is that knocks your confidence this month. So choose activities that improve self-esteem. Choose activities that help you express yourself more without shame. Choose activities in the month of October that help you feel more confident in some way. Maybe that really is dancing and or music, right? So Spirit, could you tell me a little bit more about what knocks their confidence? Why is that Queen of Wands popping up in the middle of the month? Just for more clarification here. Why are they feeling a lack of confidence? Because of Justice reversed. Okay, another major arcana here, pile number 1. Justice reversed, and then let me pull one more card here in the middle. I apologize, my desk of cards is not quite as neat as it usually is. Just happened to be a few decks that don't quite fit very well together on the table, but... And then why else pile number 1? What's with the lack of confidence? So Justice reversed and the World reversed, another major arcana. Okay, so the reason why is because towards the middle of the month, pile number 1, there's something coming up where with those two cards together, it basically explains a situation where you feel like something should end when it's supposed to, or like there's a time that it should end for like the reasons of fairness and or justice, but it doesn't. I know that sounds kind of vague, but that's the way they're describing it with these cards, because literally the World reversed means something was supposed to come to an end, but it didn't, right? And Justice reversed is kind of what it says on the tin. Injustice of some sort, or something not feeling fair to you, at least. So when that happens towards the middle of the month, there might just be an overarching theme. Maybe that's kind of even what's causing this anxiety in the beginning, if it's something you're even recognizing like right now as a problem leading into from September into October, pile 1. Spirit is saying that is short-lived. Spirit is saying, please feel more confident about yourself and the situation when this comes along. Because I'm seeing here, and this is where we're going to lead into your next cards, we have the Star, which literally means pile number 1, when it's not hidden behind all the other cards. Which literally means pile number 1 of having hope or faith in things. So a lot of the reason why they want you to be more confident is because you have a reason to have hope and faith and that things will turn out better than you're expecting when that little, maybe a little tiny speed bump comes up, right? You might have to rely on faith and hope a little bit into this third, kind of leading into the 4th week, because maybe this situation might not immediately resolve, but that's why Spirit is saying, please have confidence that things will resolve, because at the very end here, at least by the end of the month, this is where we see kind of like the denouement, or like the relax after the climax of whatever this was, right? Come through with the Lovers at the very end here upright. Now, sometimes people read that, of course, as, you know, literally romantic love. Sometimes it's also traditionally interpreted as a card of making choices. But it also is a card of harmony because of the balance between, you know, say, two lovers, right? So using that to explain more about what we've talked about so far, it's like things are going great. Anxiety's relieved because of the momentum forward, but then in the middle of the month, something kind of knocks your confidence because something doesn't feel like it ends when it's fairly supposed to, okay? And then you're kind of drifting in maybe a little bit of insecurity for a bit, and then drifting a little bit of like, well, I'll just keep having hope and faith that this will work out, and then, like I said, there's a denouement here at the very end. The harmony of the Lovers at the very end of the month. So I do see a very, very good end to your month. So if there's any part of your month that might not go 100% well, or at least you'll feel like it won't internally, but externally it will, at least in the end, is maybe just a little bit of that speed bump, like I said here in the very beginning, when we talked about like the middle of the month or so. Okay, so beginning of the month looks great, middle of the month, just have confidence in yourself. End of the month, fantastic. So wonderful pile number 1. And then we also have your beautiful card here too. Interesting. I'm going to draw one more card of clarification on the beautiful card. I'm just kind of curious what Spirit means by that. Could just mean literally it's just going to be a beautiful month, right? You know, even in the way that October manifests externally, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going right into the most beautiful part of autumn with the trees turning. All the maple trees around where I live are turning beautiful colors. And too, with your card of exuberance here with Robin Goodfellow, it can mean, you know, remember the things that bring you joy. And then once again, you do have a lot of cards of, like, dancers. I just realized that too. Not just Grace, and then Robin, of course, is playing music right on his flute, but there's even dancers here in the world. Something about dancing, I don't know. Maybe some of you are dancers, I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. And then the beautiful card is the 3 of Pentacles reversed, as well as the King of Cups reversed. Okay, so, you know, that almost seems to me like a situation that's resolving, because we have the complete opposite of the card saying, oh, beautiful, something's going to happen that's beautiful. But then you have 2 cards here that can mean maybe an issue that you've had in the recent past that's going to resolve this month. So, for example, pile number 1, the 3 of Pentacles reversed tends to represent a time of feeling like no one is helping us with something, feeling like like we feel alone in things, okay? And then with the context of the King of Cups reversed, that can represent a time of maybe those people not helping us aren't helping us out of maybe emotional immaturity is one phrase you can use with the King of Cups reversed. It could also mean literally maybe there is a partner involved in whatever this thing is that you felt a lack of teamwork in, who is an older masculine energy water sign. That's another way you could interpret the Court card, okay, with the King of Cups. And so if that resonates with you, pile number one, I think that's also going to come to a more beautiful end, or a beautiful resolution, I should say, than you're expecting. Maybe that's part of what's causing a lot of your anxiety right now, is also this particular situation where you feel this lack of teamwork and then there's like emotional immaturity involved. It's two, sometimes, I don't want to forget to say, the King of Cups reversed can represent a period of time where it feels like people are kind of walking all over our boundaries, and like a gentle reminder to set boundaries better with other people, okay? So that might be another little piece of advice here in October. Just remember, when it comes to, you know, say you're at work and you have a group project with a bunch of other people, or school. Of course, we think of school as like stereotypical with like group projects, right? Don't be afraid to assert your boundaries and say, hey, I need more help on this. I can't just let all of you slack and I have to take up all of your slack. Okay, so that's maybe one thing. And that also ties into confidence as well. So that could be also another reason why Spirit is asking you to be more confident in this month and to have more self-esteem in this month, or at least to remind yourself to speak up for yourself more. Because that's what a Queen of Wands would do upright, pile number one, is she wouldn't let, you know, people walk all over her. She'd remind people, hey, you know, we all need to put all our effort in. You know, she's charismatic. She's confident. She says, hey, you know, get your crap together and help me. Is kind of how I would just put it in like modern terms, right? So I do see that, especially if you do follow that piece of advice to be more confident, or at least remind yourself of those things, to strive for it, at least in this month of October. I think this will come to a more beautiful resolution than you're expecting. Because maybe right now you're kind of just slogging along thinking, you know, well, maybe I'll just kind of keep going and keep dragging my heels with this, or and let other, you know, but then it's like there's an opportunity for you to change this situation for the better, and for Spirit is saying for you to take that opportunity, okay, so that you do get more teamwork out of other people, so you don't have to shoulder as much burden alone. Okay. And then thinking in general terms of your month of October, we don't have a lot regarding career or finances. We did have, of course, one Pentacles card there with the Three of Pentacles, but that was just regarding the clarification on the Beautiful card. So I don't see too much going on in career or finances in this month. It looks pretty stable for you, pile number one, of course, on top of all the positive signs we've seen in general. And unless, too, like the thing that you're worried about, if that is something regarding your career or finances, and then we had so many cards about Spirit saying, oh, your worries are going to be released, you're going to have more calm, you're going to have momentum forward. If that resonates with you as a career or finance thing that you've been kind of biting your nails about, then I can see career being a part of major milestones of October 2025. Most of your cards are, well, like I said, major arcana. So that speaks to me of a month of a lot of like personal momentum forward, as we discussed in the beginning. You do have, we do have one Swords with the Nine of Swords, and then we do have one Wands with the Queen of Wands. So a little bit regarding, you know, mental growth or mental or intellectual growth here because of the Nine of Swords, but that's in the way of relieving your worries, okay, as we discussed. And then the Queen of Wands too. Wands is fire, which represents like our ambitions, our courage, our willpower, like our ability to assert ourselves and whatnot, as well as the things that make us feel alive. Okay, so there's a little bit of that too in this month, but really it's just, it feels like one of those months, pile number one, where there's just a lot of resolution rather than a lot of like new things starting. And not that, you know, you won't have that forward momentum, which might of course naturally occur with new things starting, but it's like there's a lot of things coming along that are more about resolution than, you know, starting anew. Okay, so if you've been looking for that a lot recently, then that's very good news. That means a lot of things will finally come to a close, that you've been waiting for them to come to a close. Just keep having hope and faith in this month that things are going to go okay, because like I said, I do see a really good forecast here for you, pile number one. Just handle things with grace. Just remember it's going to turn out okay in the end. Alleviate your worries. Don't worry so much if possible. I'm personally an anxious worrywart person, so I totally understand if you're like, well, how can I just control that? Or like, as much as you can, though, is what Spirit is saying, because it is going to turn out okay in the end after that period of hope and faith that things will turn out okay towards the end of the month. And then, like I said, with the Lovers being kind of like the 4th week of the month, around Halloween or so, you have harmony and resolution with the Lovers having come out there. Okay. And then to, remembering joy and exuberance, just like Robin Goodfellow reminds us to, will help through times of worry and the little tiny speed bumps of this month, as few as I do see coming up. So just remember, you know, if you're worried, listen to some music, dance a little, even if you feel silly, you know, have some fun. Focus on some fun, maybe, even if it's in the cards for you, excuse the pun. Go to a concert if you want to, or play some music if you're a musical person and know an instrument, or learn a new one. That too, that could be another way that you might express that exuberance. And at least me personally, pile number 1, I do find that music, listening to it and or making it with different instruments, or I personally like singing myself, does relieve stress. And in fact, I wonder if you could probably find scientific articles out there that prove that music does relieve stress. I bet you could. 100%. I bet you could. Playing it too, specifically, not just listening to it. So maybe look into that a little bit in this month. But yeah, pretty smooth sailing. Looks pretty good. Just remember confidence in yourself, pile number 1. And have hope and faith that there are more beautiful resolutions to things that you might not see right away that are waiting in the wings. Okay, so beautiful month of October for you. I hope that reading was helpful for you. I hope, of course, most of all, that you liked it and it resonated. If so, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. You know, my usual spiel about, you know, all those things. If you've watched my videos before, you know what to do, right? Thank you so much, too, if you choose to do so. I'm always eternally grateful for likes, comments, and subscriptions. And as I always say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your October 2025 predictions reading. And as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful orange card of Spider for your pile leader today. Now, of course, when we think of spiders, well, some of you might instinctively react and go, ooh, that's kind of creepy or scary, although by you picking the spider card, maybe you don't have a fear of spiders like a lot of people do. We also associate spiders with weaving and hard work and careful craft, and that is very fitting because the meaning of this card in this deck is just that. The keyword technically that this card uses is artistry. Okay, so things that we do intricately, things that we do that make us masters of our craft, or at least making us learn how to be masters of our craft. So it's very possible, pile number 2, that one of the big themes for October coming up for you is just that artistry. Maybe you are an artist, maybe you know, or even if you don't do that for like your day job, perhaps you do a lot of like artistic hobbies on the side. Could be a very good sign that you'll see a lot of progress in this area in October 2025, not 2025 as a whole. I was just going to say that, right? The month of October, you know what I meant, right? Pile number 2. So yes, progress with hobbies, things that you're trying to master, or even if it's not artistic things in general. You know, spiders don't weave because they're trying to make art. They weave because they're trying to survive. So even in areas of just survival, you know, career, finances, relationships, etc., you're going to be hard at work. But on the other hand, on the other side of that hard work is something created that is beautiful just by you going through doing the motions that you do every single day, but all the more beautiful because of the way that they are woven. Okay. So, seems so far like a pretty good month. We'll see with your tarot spread. It'll give us a glimpse from week to week. And in contrast to the typical way I do tarot readings, I'm going to draw all of your cards at once, including the other oracle cards. But in the interest of you not having to watch me shuffle for 2 minutes long, I'll try to kind of explain a little bit about what's popping out as we go along. So let's begin with your tarot spread, pile number 2. Spirit, let's talk about their October from beginning to end. Thank you, coming up here in 2025. Okay, this one for sure is like pick me. Uh-oh, I hope I don't have to sneeze. Apologies if I sneeze in a second here. I think I got it held back, but try not to sneeze on camera, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta sneeze. Hey, maybe some of you are trying not to sneeze right now watching this. Maybe it's a bit of a synchronicity. Okay, so I'll reveal the tarot spread, and then, of course, like I said, I'll draw the other cards. So to begin, we have the Hanged Man. Okay, interesting card to get at the very beginning of the month. We'll talk about that more later. Then we have the Six of Cups reversed. Okay, maybe a bit of a family or sibling theme or something from the past coming up. We'll see what pops up in the middle here. The Four of Wands reversed. Okay. Definitely something with home and family is a big theme this month. I can tell you that already. Then we have the Star reversed. Okay, maybe a little bit of a pessimism here in terms of... we'll talk about that later. And then last but not least, we have the Nine of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right off the bat, pile number 2. Now, those of you familiar with tarot might look at the spread and be like, oh, I don't know about October 2025. But what I'm hearing is that the reading that you're getting right now is more about advice for this month, okay? Because a lot of these aren't necessarily, like, bad cards in terms of predicting, you know, oh, this horrible thing's going to happen. You didn't get a Tower at all, okay? And in fact, you got the card that comes after the Tower with the Star, albeit reversed, but as I said, pile number 2, it kind of feels more like that is a piece of advice card, okay? So, let's see. Let's look at your other Oracle cards to expand on the messages of the reading. A lot of this month, I can tell you right off the bat here, pile 2, is regarding your mental state and the way that you view things, especially because the very first card you got is the Hanged Man, which is kind of fitting with the spider, right? Because what do spiders do but hang from their webs, right? So I think a lot of what you might think, the way you might view October as you go through this entire month, in the beginning, it might first seem a certain way, or you might interpret things happening like in a way that isn't necessarily like, you know, the most positive, but because of that Hanged Man pile number 2, it's basically Spirit saying, if you look at it in an opposite way though, because of the card meaning things about different perspectives, you'll see it in a more positive light. Okay, so just hear me out. Hopefully not all of you are clicking off the reading right now, but I always joke about that whenever I say anything that's potentially kind of negative. People are like, oh god, they're going to run away from the reading. But you know what? Hey, I'll read honestly, because I'll read the cards that come out. And then we have Strength and Numbers. Okay, also teamwork might be a big theme for this month as well to help you through some of these things. Okay. And then let's look at your Vintage Wisdom Oracle. So yes, the very beginning of the month we have the Hangman, as I was just describing. The first week, that's kind of that card. And so basically there's something in the first week of October where you're going to need to maybe lean into that different perspective a little bit more. I will draw a clarification on that here once I'm done drawing your Oracle cards. Just because I feel like, oh, we have Trust, see? Oh, we have Trust. Yeah. Especially with that Star card reversed having come out later. We'll talk about that in a second. And then, yes, this is the Hangman, which, as I said, I'll draw a clarification on. Apologies. I did say I was going to read the cards as I was drawing, but then with the Hangman popping out, I'm like, wait, I need a clarification. So before I can read the rest of them, I want the clarification on the Hangman. So let's see here. Spirit says we have Wisdom. Actually, I want to draw this second card here, pile 2, because this one was also quite prominent. We have Celestial. Okay. A bit of divine intervention this month. I want to draw clarifications on those too. Okay, so Spirit, could you please give me a clarification on the Hanged Man? Thank you. What's this about the different perspectives that pile 2 will need in the first week? What's this about different perspectives? We have the Knight of Swords reversed. Oh, okay. Something you want to happen really quick and it's not happening fast enough, pile number 2. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, so pile number 2, hear me out. It's probably something that you're already aware of because this is the first week of October and we're getting quite close to it, right? It's something that you have wanted to speed up. It's something that you want to go faster because of the energy of the Knight of Swords reversed having come out as the clarifier for that card. A Knight of Swords reversed is someone wishing that action will be taken more quickly, especially when it comes to decision making or like logical ideas, okay, because it is the suit of air, which is controls those domains in tarot. And so Spirit is asking you in that first month, pile number 2, to please, as hard as it is, if you feel like something isn't going fast enough in that week, in the very beginning, think about it from a different perspective of, well, maybe it's for the reason of divine timing, because you also got Celestial and Wisdom as your 2 earthly spirits and souls, Moon Oracle. Really long Oracle name, but yes, that's what that deck is from. I always forget the name. I think I got it right. But yes, with Wisdom and Celestial, that speaks to me like divine timing, like wisdom from the skies or from the heavens, etc. And it's almost like this thing is not happening fast enough because it's better for you in the end that it doesn't happen in that very first week. Okay. And I think because of such a prominence of family and home-related cards having come out, you have the 6 of Cups reversed as the next card, as well as the 4 of Wands reversed as like the middle of the month / kind of the heart theme of the month card. Family and like siblings and your memories or your past are going to be a really prominent, at least in the beginning of the month for you, type of theme, okay? So maybe it's like you're hoping something goes faster, snapping your fingers with like family, okay, or with a sibling of some sort. Specifically, it's a brother and a sister here in the 6 of Cups in this particular depiction. Same thing too with the 4 of Wands reversed. It's maybe something in that, first to like middle of the second week of October where you're wanting this to go faster because you're like, I need stability in the home. I want more stability in my situation. You know, maybe you're trying to create more harmony in the family because of this, or you want something to go faster because of the family. Whatever that is and however that resonates with you, pile number 2, just be assured that Spirit is saying to trust. You literally have the trust card. And that is a prominent theme with the Star Reverse that just came up later here after the middle of the month into like maybe the third week, okay? And then, of course, like I said, Celestial and Wisdom is basically the wisdom of the heavens, basically saying, pile 2, we know this is going to cause you to worry a little bit in the beginning of the month, but be assured that this is because of the wisdom of divine timing. Trust. And then, yes, we have the Star Reverse, which I didn't explain yet, means as a piece of advice, please have greater hope or faith in that things will turn out okay. Because the Star card in pile number 2 within the tarot deck comes right after the Tower. Now, you don't have a Tower moment here. Maybe the Tower moment was back in September, I'm not sure. But a Tower moment, pile number 2, tends to represent a time where there has been some sort of big falling apart, big disaster, big pivotal moment, something along those lines that has lasting change. The Star card comes right after that, and that's very telling, pile number 2, because it's basically a card of having hope or faith after you feel like all is lost. So whatever despair you're feeling right now, that is something that probably will resolve by the end of October here, because Spirit is saying, have hope or faith, as the Star Reverse card having come out as a piece of advice. Also, pile number 2, you have the 9 of Swords at the very end. That can mean that you might still struggle with a little bit of worry towards the end of the month here, because the 9 of Swords is about anxiety. It's about being upset about something in terms of worry. Now, hear me out though, pile 2. That doesn't mean that it's actually something that you need to worry about. It's not the card of something bad's happening, so you should worry. It's the card of no matter what is happening, you're worrying about it. Okay, so I get the feeling almost too that this is a piece of advice, and this is why I said in the very beginning of your reading that this almost feels like an advice for October spread to me, to help you over what little bumps do come your way. In terms of the very end here at the 4th week, when that worry crops up, just know that it might probably, and the way I'm seeing it with the Star Reverse next to it, pile 2, you're worrying over nothing. Doesn't mean that your worry isn't valid in terms of, well, you feel your feelings and, you should, always listen to your gut. Don't get me wrong, pile 2. But this does really feel to me, especially, and then trust too, which I just, once again, I'm sitting right next to it. Trust that things will work out. Have hope or faith that it's not a disaster. Okay? Have hope or faith that things will be okay. So just be wary in that 4th month of jumping to like immediate conclusions when it comes to the things that you're worried about. All right? And I do see, because of that message of trust and, have hope or faith, that a lot of these family issues or issues of harmony in the home, especially with that 4 of Wands, will probably be resolved. And that's why in the very beginning, as I said, that piece of advice with the Hangman is to look at things in a different perspective. As I said, this feels like it just screams divine timing to me. So although during the month of October, you might not feel like there's a lot of progress or like maybe kind of a lot of icky, feelings of, oh, I don't think this is going to work out. I'm worried, what's going on with my family and the harmony in the home. Like those icky types of feelings. Spirit is basically saying, if you follow this advice, you'll weather through a lot of that better. And by the end, you'll probably realize that you didn't really have to worry that much because there was a reason that you should trust the divine timing of what was going on. Okay. I also promised I would draw more clarification on the wisdom and celestial cards. And although honestly, that kind of tied in a lot to the message already, but I will ask. So Spirit, can you give us a little bit more clarity on the wisdom and celestial cards? What do you mean by that for their October month? Thank you. Okay, well, that was prominent. Okay, so we have a little bit of a career finances thing. Okay, so we also have a divine timing here with the Page of Cups reversed and the Ace of Pentacles. I'm sorry, not Cups, blah. Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles reversed, or coins. And so what that means, pile number 2, is there's probably a situation here where once again, and this is the prominent thing popping out, pile 2, is that it really seems like a month of illusions. It really seems like a month of you thinking something's going to go bad and then it doesn't because of the cards coming out. Or you think things are not going to resolve the way that you want them to, but it does. And, even tying that back to the artistry of the spider, thinking about it that way, pile 2, is like, it's like you think, even with spiders, you look at them and you might initially look at them and you're like, oh man, that's kind of creepy, because instinctually as humans, we look at spiders and we think, oh, that's kind of a creepy thing, right? Of course, depending on who you are, but most people see a spider, they kind of look at it for a second, like, how close is it to me and how far do I need to run away, right? But that's the thing, is that really most of the time, pile number 2, they're harmless, of course, depending on the spider, but in the interest of this reading, it's like something that is harmless. And really, too, when we think about the weaving metaphor with spiders, webs take time. Artistry takes time, pile number 2, okay? Just because you don't see the finished web and all of its beauty and the pattern as it's being woven doesn't mean that there isn't a pattern being woven that will make sense in the end when you look at it as a full picture in hindsight. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say this month kind of feels like a month of illusions. It feels like you're not making progress, or it feels like things aren't making sense, or it feels like there's things that you have to be really worried about, but as long as you have faith and as long as you trust in the divine, in your spirit guides, in the divine timing, as I said before multiple times, it's going to be okay. It's one of those months. It's just, you'll feel like it is along the way, but I think it'll be fine in the end, okay? And then, yes, the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles reversed, okay? This is divine timing, as clarification, what these cards mean together, regarding something where you feel like you're not getting an opportunity that you want to explore with finances or career. Some of you that might be regarding like a job hunt if you're currently looking for a job. Some of you it might be with like a promotion that maybe you were eyeing up at a job if you're currently at one at a workplace, right? Some of you it might be like, say if you have a small business or you're trying to start something new along those lines, maybe you'll feel like you don't have like a lot of sales in this month as well. Something along those lines. But once again, there's that theme of divine timing with wisdom and celestial, because this is what clarified those two cards, was these two. There's something they're saying is being withheld from you in these areas of career and finance for a good reason. And I know that's hard to hear, pile number 2. And I know, like, if I were watching this video right now, I'd be like, oh my God, this might sound kind of bad, especially like if you're in a situation where you're like, I really want that promotion, or I really want that job, or I really want that opportunity, that sale, however that applies to you. But I promise you, pile 2, they're saying when that crops up in October, something isn't happening for a reason that is in your best interest and benefit. Okay? And then last but not least, we do have the Strength in Numbers card, which I haven't read yet. Very cutely, we have 2 kittens and a squirrel. I thought it'd be cute to have my cat wisdom deck today because, I don't know, I like kitties. So I always say apologies to dog people out there, but I'm a cat person and I love having cat decks. So it says, call on a friend for company and support to get you through this challenging time. Join forces with those around you who can offer a helping hand. We're always stronger together and you can return the favor down the track. Okay, so that's another piece of advice, pile number 2 in this month, to lean on the strength of other people as well. Okay, maybe that's where the trust message comes in as well. Maybe a lot of your worry stems from you having, feeling alone in something, or feeling like no one's helping you, things like that, or along those lines. So Spirit is saying, do not be afraid in October to reach out to other people to help you through these things. Even if it's as simple, and this is what I'm hearing specifically as a message for you, Pile 2, even if it's as simple as you asking other people, hey, you know what? I have a lot of worries right now. Can I just vent to you for 10 minutes? Even if it's that simple as just a venting session, because, even if you don't ask them, hey, help me with this very specific thing, because we're not meant to go through this life completely alone. We're not meant to go through this life having to completely emotionally rely on ourselves. And that's especially true in this month for you, pile number 2, because I think that too will help relieve some of these worries. Because I think, when especially even if it's as simple as I said, venting to somebody about what's going on here, with either the family thing, or you feeling oh, this opportunity is not coming my way, or it's not coming fast enough, etc. The worries that you have, especially with that 9 of Swords we talked about earlier, other people can provide perspectives that are well, hey, did you try this thing regarding this family matter? Or they might say things regarding the promotion thing. Well, maybe that promotion, or I heard something about that promotion that really wasn't as good as you thought it might have been. And so then you have that realization of that click of, oh, really that was divine intervention, that I didn't get whatever that was because there was something about it that I didn't understand that might not have been the best for me. Just as an example, that might not be specifically what comes forward for you, pile number 2, or what occurs in this month for you, but that's kind of along the lines of what I'm talking about, okay? So don't be afraid to reach out to other people. Don't be afraid to talk to other people, especially when it comes to needing a bit of a pick-me-up and a bit of help with trust, okay? Or even, maybe, even if it's or not just venting, pile number 2, maybe even reach out to other people to help you with things as well. Because as the card says, there's strength in numbers. Join forces, always stronger together. Support to get you through a challenging time. Okay. So, venting or not, try to reach out to other people in this month. But I do see, and just hear me out, pile 2, I don't get a bad feeling from this reading. I don't get a feeling of, as I said, there is no tower moment. It's that month of illusions. It's that month of things seeming one way, but then by the end you're going to realize, oh, in hindsight, actually it was this way. As evidenced, of course, like I said at the very beginning of the Hanged Man, which is all about different perspectives. If you look at it in a different way, it might not seem the way that you initially perceived things as. Okay, so just don't be afraid to second guess some things in this month. Don't be afraid to not just trust your initial impression, and ask down in your gut, your intuition, more questions this month as well. Or other people's intuition too, as I said, with say venting. Maybe they'll offer some ideas for you that you didn't necessarily come up or think of of yourself right away, okay? And then just trust in the universe too. I know it's cliche, but with that card having come out with also, wisdom and celestial and trust, it's just trust in the universe this month, pile 2. Okay. Things will turn out okay. Things will be good. Have hope and faith. And then 2, one thing I do want to do for you, pile number 2, I didn't do this for any of the other piles, at least so far, but I'm feeling guided by Spirit to give you a card about November as well. Okay. So the month after October here. Because I feel intuitively that there's going to be a payoff of some sort because of all this in October. Spirit, can you tell me what's the payoff in November from this October that they'll have? What's the payoff in November? Okay, something with social groups. And the payoff is... So they came out reversed, but I asked what's going to be the payoff or what's the improvement coming in November because of everything going on October, right? So this might be towards the end of October leaning into November, pile number 2, and they're saying it's something to do with righting an injustice regarding a group of people. Okay, I don't know if it's a friend group. I don't know if it's literally like a family, because that can be another group of people, right? And family was a prominent theme in the beginning, especially of the month. Or it could also be a workplace. But the reason why for this divine timing, for things turning and weaving the way that they do in the month of October for you, is because they're helping you with divine timing regarding injustice in a group of people. Okay. So if that, even if just that is the little lifeline that helps you keep this hope and faith and this trust that things will turn out okay, for you not to worry as much in this month ahead as these things come along, right? That is it right there. There's some injustice they're going to correct about a social group that's out of balance. Okay? So that is what I will leave you with for your reading today, pile number 2. Just remember, it's a month of illusions. Things aren't what they seem. Keep hope and faith. Lean on other people. Trust in divine timing of the universe. Okay, so I hope you liked that reading. I hope it resonated with you and it helped you most of all. That's what I care about. And if so, please like the video, comment down below, and or subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you haven't done so already. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about your October 2025 predictions. And as you recall, you were drawn to the frog card for your pile leader. And this card is all about, oddly enough, it isn't the first keyword I would associate with the frog, but it is about intuition. And as we all know, if you're familiar with spiritual terms, our intuition is about your gut feeling deep down. The truth of things that you see beneath initial physical impressions, okay? So it seems like for October, for you, pile number 3, a lot of this month is about trusting your gut. It's about leaning into your intuition. And as we know, intuition is a gift of, well, it's 2 different things. It's a gift of, number 1, from spirit. It's saying that to yourself, I trust in my soul to know what's best for me. It's also a gift of genetics and instinct. It's kind of where instinct and our spirit intersect, okay? So you might have a lot of situations this month as well where your instinct might flare a little bit. You might be like, that thing someone said to me, I'm not so sure that that was the truth. Or, I feel like I should take this path instead of this one, and I don't know why, but that's what my gut is telling me. Things along that nature, okay? Very fitting for October as well because, you know, we always kind of associate October with bit of a spooky month because of Halloween. Not spooky as in scary, right? But things kind of hiding under the veil. Things not being what they seem. Okay? The spiritual world kind of bleeding into the physical as the veil thins. Okay, so we'll put this pile leader over here to the left to begin, and in a contrast to my usual setup, I'm going to draw your tarot spread and your oracle cards kind of all together at the very beginning, although I will start interpreting as I draw, just so you're not just watching me say nothing and draw cards for like 2 minutes, because I know that's probably not very fun to listen to or watch, so let's keep going. Pile number 3. So Spirit, how do you see their October going from beginning to end? Okay, Queen of Pentacles reversed is the first card. Okay, something to do with finances or career in the first week. We'll talk about that more, as of course we'll see more details and nitty-gritties with the rest of the cards coming out. What else, Spirit, for pile number 3? And then we have the Sun. Wonderful. Okay. That makes things a little bit more, excuse the pun, bright. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Lots of pentacles. Look at this pile number 3. Maybe a bit of a career finances focus this month because of that. Then we have the Nine of Swords reversed, and that's very interesting. The Nine of Swords has popped up in every single reading today. One other pile it was reversed, one other pile it was upright, but it has popped up a lot. And then we have the Ten of Wands reversed also. Good. Okay. So pile number 3. as I draw your oracle cards, as I said, there is a big focus this month on finances and career because you do have 2 Pentacles cards, being the Earth suit and Tarot. That's all about the physical material things around us, okay? So there might be some pieces of advice in terms of your career because these cards are reversed, especially in the first week, and then kind of the overarching theme being the middle card here with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, as well as kind of the very smack dab middle of the month being, seeing this as kind of like a timeline. But there are positive things outside of like the advice pieces, especially towards the end of the month. We have really positive forecast here with the 9 of Swords reversed and the 10 of Wands reversed. Fantastic cards to get reversed because usually they mean a negative thing upright. And let's look at your cat card here. I always say apologies to dog people when I use this deck, but I'm a cat person and so I have a cat deck. I thought it would bring smiles to our face. There are some puppies in this cards, so... Okay, I swear to God I closed my eyes behind the screen. As I was drawing this, we do have embracing differences, and speaking of, there is a dog in this one. Very cute. Embracing differences, okay. Maybe a bit of a theme here of celebrating diversity of thought in this month of October. Could also mean something to do with someone that you're trying to compromise with, and you might kind of have to meet halfway. Celebrating differences in terms of maybe someone's better at something than you and vice versa, and you kind of lean on each other for support to make up for the thing that the other person lacks or has strength in. Then we have release. Okay. Especially fitting with the 10 of Wands here at the very end reversed. Picture forming. I see. Okay. And then... let's look at your last card here. And I want to tell you pile number 3. I think that message about intuition is very linked to the career finance things we were talking about that we'll interpret here in a second. Okay, these 2 both came out, so we're taking them. We have Radiant as well as the card of Nature. We're putting them together, Radiant Nature. I will draw clarifications on those as well. But interpreting your tarot spread so far, because as I said, I want to make sure I keep going as I draw cards. The very first week of October, you might be feeling a bit of a pinch in terms of financial security, and I don't want you to immediately run away from the reading and be like, oh God, I want to lose money. I mean, it is possible that maybe something like that will come along, but I'm intuitively feeling pile number 3 that this is more of internal security in terms of how you feel about it rather than what's the actual truth, especially because you've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed rather than the King. A King of Pentacles reversed, I would have been like, maybe it really is like a bill that comes up in the first week of October that you're not expecting, but a Queen is more internal energy. How do we feel internally about our security and our finances? So just know that if something does come along that first week of October that makes you kind of feel insecure about your finances, that first card there is a piece of advice that it might turn out better than you're expecting. And I say that especially because in the first to second week or so of October, we have the Sun here. Okay. Pop that out a bit. You can see a bit better. Unfortunately, the cards I have here are not so good about, they don't fit very well together on the desk, so things kind of overlap. But the Sun comes out as the second, first to second week card. Especially good to get after all of that because basically that means things are going to perk up. It's a card of joy. It's also a card of truth. And especially with the theme of intuition having come out with your frog pile number 3, it could be that some sort of intuition or gut feeling that you have in that first to second week gets proven true when truth comes out with the Sun. But I do see it in general too as a very positive, like first and second week after that, maybe kind of initial feeling of insecurity of some sort. And then in the third week, or second to third week, the middle of the month, with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, we do see that advice maybe crop up a little bit again. A Knight of Pentacles reversed can be advice regarding, well, it's interesting, because he's a bit different than the Queen of Pentacles. He's more about the action taken in this area, because he's a knight. And so, basically what that means, pile 3, is that... oh, you know what it is? They're saying something about... in the very middle of the month, and perhaps as an overall theme, I'm hearing this very specifically. Trust your gut intuition when it comes to actions you might take regarding your career or finances. That's why that popped up reversed. It just came into my head. I was like, well, wait a minute. Because typically he is about taking action, but reversed, I mean, sometimes it can mean, needing to take more action, but I'm hearing intuitively, because of the frog card meaning intuition. Well, and also, too, I just realized he's holding a bow and arrow, and then you have the card of release. Because of those synchronicities, or like those paired symbolisms I'm seeing here, isn't maybe a better way to put it, pile 3, I feel like that's a piece of advice, as I said, just be wary of taking action too quickly in the middle of the month regarding finance or career decisions. Okay. The answer, because I know some of you right now are like, oh God, well, what do I do? Like, what if that comes up? How will I know? The answer, pile 3, is to always follow your gut when that comes up. Does this feel like the right place to draw back my bow and shoot my arrow? In terms of what goal I want to launch myself towards, like that arrow. Does this feel like this is the right time to release something? Maybe even literally your job is regarding, or a side thing that you do is regarding releasing things, like releasing a book, releasing music, releasing a product of some sort, depending on what your job is, or maybe a side thing that you do, right? The middle of the month might not be the best time to release it. You might want to do it a bit earlier, like the sun would be a really good time, so that'd be like first into second week or so. Or, there is a lot of good tidings here at the end of the month with the 9 of Swords reversed and the 10 of Wands reversed, okay? So, if you are thinking about, at that time, releasing something, you might want to hold your arrow and your bow back at the very middle of the month, pile 3. But all in all, follow your gut. That's what Spirit is saying here with that card. And then we have the 9 of Swords reversed and the 10 of Wands reversed at the very end. So 9 of Swords reversed technically represents, third into the fourth week. What that means, pile 3, is a very positive message of you being able to relieve your anxiety about something. Whatever you're kind of worried about this month up until that point, that's when the worry will be relieved, either through outside action that naturally leads to you feeling like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about that anymore, that got resolved, etc., or a mental switch of some sort where you say to yourself, maybe I don't really need to worry about that thing that I was worrying about. Maybe that's that financial insecurity feeling that we were talking about at the very beginning of the month, although I do think that resolves a bit, especially with the sun having come up in like the second week or so. And then we have the 10 of Wands reversed at the very end, which is a card of release. It's of letting go of burdens, next to literally like the Oracle card of release that you just got. So pile 3, whatever has been burdening you, or whatever at least is in like the month of October burdening you, you're going to see that release at the very end. You're going to be able to let down a heavy load. You're going to be like, oh, okay, I don't have to shoulder that anymore. I can just let that go. I can just be free. I don't have to feel like Atlas holding up the world of something anymore, okay? So maybe that would be a better time for you to release something. Especially maybe towards the end with that meaning of the 10 of Wands. So reversed at least. So specifically pile 3, if you're looking to, like, say, release a song or release a book, and you're kind of caught between different ideas of should I do it towards the middle of October or towards the end, your answer would be towards the end of October would be a better time. Okay, towards Halloween or so, right? Spooky season, all right? And then we have embracing your differences. We'll talk about that right now. There's a meaning on the back with a dog and a cat kind of looking at each other askew. A little bit of side eye. Do you sometimes feel like a square peg in a round hole, as though everyone around you is different to you? Try to look at your quirks and uniqueness from a more positive perspective. The diversity of our world is one of its most beautiful and intriguing features. I'm going to draw another clarifier on that, but what I'm hearing so far on that pile 3 is, it's kind of like what I said when I first pulled it out. I feel like you're going to need to be open-minded to differences in this month, or if you come across someone who is not open-minded to your unique traits or your differences, it's like I don't know. Let me draw the card on it. Can you clarify the embracing differences, Spirit? Thank you. I'm feeling it's more along the lines of a teamwork type of message, but let's see what pops out. Well, this one is quite prominent. Let's take it. The Ace of Cups, which can mean a new relationship or a new feeling about something, a new way to feel about something. I think it's someone that you meet that's new. I think that's where that teamwork idea was kind of coming in intuitively, pile 3 as well. Because of the Ace of Cups, aces in their suits are always like new energy coming in, and Cups specifically is about relationships and our feelings. So you're going to meet someone new in October, pile 3. And you might immediately not be the most fond. You might think, this person is just too different from me. I don't know if we're going to get along. But I have a feeling, pile number 3, that if you keep an open mind, if you give them maybe a second chance, you probably won't regret it. That's what I'm hearing with that particular message. I think you'll find someone who is a good match for you. So sometimes, some of you that might be dating, some of you it might be like someone you meet at work. It could be literally like, a social related thing where it's a new friend, a new person that you meet through another friend or, et cetera, whatever avenues you tend to meet new people through within your specific social circles, right? But I don't know. I think it's another area where your intuition will kick in too. On the surface, you'll be like, this person's way too different. This isn't going to work. But I don't know. I feel like your gut or your intuition might say, well, wait. It'll whisper and say, maybe give this person another chance. So don't be afraid to give people that you just met a second chance in this month of October as well. Because I think it'll lead to a lot more benefit than you're expecting. And then last but not least, we do have here with the Radiant in Nature cards. I did draw this as I was explaining your main spread, the Devil and the Seven of Cups reversed as clarifier cards. So Radiant Nature, Devil, and the Seven of Cups reversed. Let me think about that for just a moment, pile 3. It clicked. Don't be afraid to express something that you've been holding back or caging away regarding a dream of yours. And I say that, and I'll explain, because the Devil is often a card of things that are caged, things that hold us back, things that are kind of bound or chained away. The Seven of Cups reversed can mean a card of releasing dreams or actually like turning dreams into reality. That in combination with the cards of Radiant in Nature, radiation or to be radiant is to shine out a light of some sort, which is interesting because you do have the sun, which can mean light. Maybe towards first and second week of October, it would be a good time for you to do this, if you're asking, like, well, when should I release this dream, right? And maybe that's another thing you're supposed to release here. I'm just thinking back to this other Oracle card you have on the right here, pile number 3. Interesting. You have a lot about letting go this month, yeah. But in general, yes, don't be afraid to express yourself more. And it's either, like a dream of yours or some nature of yours that you tend to hide away because of the card of nature having popped out too. And in general too, if you feel like it's right when the time comes, following that intuition message we talked about earlier, then you'll know, like, okay, this is the right time for me to express that. This is the right time for me not to cage that dream away, to take action instead of holding it back and thinking, well, I can't do that, or, oh, that's not possible, or other like limiting beliefs regarding this dream of yours, okay? It's a good time to shine this month. It's a good time to release things. I mean, just like the theme of autumn, right? I know some of you are in the Southern Hemisphere, so I apologize for my Southern Hemisphere friends watching, but for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in the very thick of autumn. We just passed the equinox, right? We just moved into the season of autumn after summer. And what is autumn all about but release? Am I right? Right? Letting go of the leaves, letting go of the last year, not holding on to things anymore that we don't need, just like the leaves dropping off of the trees. So maybe emulate a bit of your spiritual path this month after, and I know this sounds kind of corny when I put it this way, but just hear me out. Emulate your spiritual path this month a little bit after how the autumn works. What could you release that you don't need anymore? Is it possibly grudges regarding differences? Is it ideas that you have that you've locked away? Is it burdens you don't need anymore, like the Ten of Wands reverse we discussed earlier? Is it insecurities about your career or your finances that you don't really actually need to worry about. I mean, of course, when something is to be really fully worried about, pile number 3, but sometimes, we get caught in those loops of thinking of panic around, oh God, am I, well, what if this comes up or this thing happens, or like, oh, I wish I was this farther ahead in this area of, how much money I've saved up, or, the ladder of the career that I'm trying to climb up, or etc. However that applies to you, pile 3. Release those worries if you can. If you know that they might just be little demons haunting your thoughts rather than actual things to feel insecure about. Okay, that's another maybe theme of the month here as well. And then, we talked about career and finances. We do have a lot of pentacles because, Queen and the Knight. We already kind of discussed what that is. So in terms of your career this month, pile 3, I would just be wary when insecurity pops up in terms of how you feel about it. And then also be very precise in when you release arrows or release ideas or release goals in terms of career and finances. Okay? Just like that idea of like the bow and the arrow. You have to be very careful about where you're shooting before you let it fly. So that's your career and finances. There's not too much about relationships other than, of course, we talked about the embracing differences and the Ace of Cups. I think you're going to meet someone new that you should give a second chance to in this month. That is one relationship-related thing. I'm trying to think of other areas of life people usually want to know about. In terms of, like, love, that might be related to love if you're currently, like, dating and meeting new people. What it means is that if you give someone a second chance, they might turn into more of a good partner than you're expecting than what they seemed like at first glance. Let's see, other areas. We talk about career, love, relationships. Not anything really about family. Family looks kind of stable to me. In terms of the month of October. Anything else? We do have 1 Wands, and then the Sun I always kind of think of as a fire card, right? And fire in tarot is about our ambitions or our willpower or our confidence, kind of what we radiate out. We did talk about that a little bit with letting yourself shine more, or the dream that you have shine more. Yeah, because in terms of the energetic balance here, you have more earth and fire than anything. So I do see it kind of being as a very ambition and kind of career-related month. A little bit of relationships, and then maybe a little bit of air there with the 9 of Swords reversed, but that's really more so a resolution in something that you're worried about, as we discussed earlier when we talked about the 9 of Swords reversed, okay? So overall, pile number 3, it looks like a pretty great month to me, other than maybe some mental speed bumps regarding things that you're feeling insecure about or you're worried about that will resolve towards the end of the month. So just be assured that things will kind of turn out a little bit better by the end of whatever it is that you're kind of worried about from the beginning. And then, it's a month of follow your intuition. It's a month of second chances. It's a month of letting go of things that no longer serve you. It's another theme that popped out we discussed earlier, just in summary. Letting yourself shine more. We had that with the Sun and your Radiant Nature cards, of course. And, seems a little bit more of an internal focused month, but that's not always bad. Because a lot of the things that we're looking for in terms of progress outside of ourselves really do begin with progress inside of ourselves, pile number 3, as we all know. So, looks like a good month to me. Releasing burdens, letting go of worries, letting yourself shine. Pretty steady month. Okay, so that was your reading for October 2025, pile number 3. Of course, most of all, I hope that you liked it, it helped you, and that it resonated. And if so, please like the video, comment down below, or subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you haven't done so already. That's my spiel I always say. I know those of you who watch my channel, you're familiar with it, but I do really mean it when I say that it does help the channel a lot when you do, either one or all 3 of those things. So thank you so much if you choose to do so. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, pile 3.